If you drag and drop your file into APG, and everything that's in that file should show up, hopefully. So just go through, make sure everything's there. All your photos in each node should be ordered in the order that you took them in, so just double check that as well. So now you want to go into your settings up in the top left corner, and this will bring up all your group settings. So under detection, you'll just want your quality to be standard, so you will have to click it on. So you'll have standard. Number of points, you'll have 50, and it should just already be 50. Ransack model isn't ransack model in the program, it is filtering model. That should be set to similarity. Down into links, layout should be free. Your detect links should be 1 stack level. In this case, it's the reference level, not 1 stack level. Now down to your project. So you need to navigate to find your folder. And your file name, you should change it to %R0. And under automate, it should just be auto color correction, nothing else should be selected. Under the optimization tab, shouldn't click anything, really, it should all just be automatic. And under Panorama, you should have a projection of spherical. Okay. So, render tab now. Render size should be 100%. Your interpolator should be bicubic. Blending settings, select anti-ghost. Format should be in JPEG, and the depth should be set to 8-bit. Quality will need to be changed to 12, and the DPI should remain at 72. Your export data should be set to Panorama, and options should just be blank. Now for your output, it should have %P, so leave it at that. And you should be all done with your settings. So if you just hit OK, you're good. Here's a trial version. We can't just save normally, so to save you will have to detect first. If you've only done the settings for one, you can only detect one. But if you've applied all the settings to every single one of them, you can do it down the bottom left corner for all groups, and that will do a batch detect. So for the moment, we'll just do one because we've only applied the settings to that one at the top. A little bit bar, we'll move along. Now it's all detected. So you'll have to check the assembly quality in the Panorama editor. So you'll click at it, and you'll have a look. And as it hasn't stitched together yet, you will still have that fisheye effect happening. So this one seems to be all good, but you can see down the bottom that there is just waviness going on, and we'll show you how to crop that out. So at the top in the bar, you'll see crop. It should auto-detect the minimum crop, really. You shouldn't need to play around with it, but just double check before you go ahead with anything. Be with your cropped image if you've needed to. You can save it in the top left corner, or if you haven't needed to, if you haven't opened it, you can just save it from the tiled screen. So you want to save, make sure that everything, all your file names are correct. So and you can just use the guide and what's on the screen to get your head around how that's been done. Otherwise, once they're correct, we'll move on to rendering. So I'm going to click your little cog, click, and you'll come up with more settings, and it's really just going over settings you've already put in as a double check. So your blending presets should be anti-ghost, format JPEG, depth 8-bit. Your quality should be the maximum 12, DPI 72. Your data should be Panorama. Just double check your folder for the output. Make sure that it is going into the nodes, your server numbers, and finally into APG. And your file name should be %A. Once that's all checked, you can hit render and off it goes. Alright, so once it's completed, you'll see a little green tick to the left of the file name. It does pay to check that it has saved to the correct file with the correct naming convention. It is quite pivotal for the whole process. And also double check that it's a JPEG. Very important. Once that's all checked, you can close out and we will move on to PanoTour. And up PanoTour, you will need to create an empty PanoTour project. You'll end up with a screen just like this. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to click on your JPEG that you've created in APG and drop it into the window. It'll load up. Okay. Now, just double check that's what you want. So the correct survey and the correct node. Now we will go over to the right of the screen and we will go to the name and we will just name that survey whatever number it would be. And we'll go down to the bottom and it will say start parameters. You just want to make sure that everything is unchecked. By default, use dedicated mouse cursor is checked and play sounds unless you want sounds being played. Just uncheck them. Now, in terms of the settings for the panorama, you want to click the panorama itself and you want to ensure that the output projection is spherical. And for zooming, you will find that zooming to 100% won't be effective. So just uncheck limit to image resolution. We're finding that 4000% just lets you zoom in really till it's unintelligible, which is what we need. If you did forget or if you didn't get a chance to crop your image in APG, you can do the same thing in PanoTour. And what's popping up on the screen is these handlebars. They aren't necessarily cropping the image. What they are is they are limiters. So that will limit how far up or down you can view the image when it's stitched together. Okay. So once you've got that and you're happy with how it's set, you want to head up to the Build tab, top corner. Now, this stuff you do need to pay attention to because this is all your outputs and this will lead to your survey being stitched and readable. So with your output, your folder should be panoramas / your survey number. In our case, it will be survey 1. So we'll just take a second to go find that. Okay, and our file name will be node, and that should be that will be standard for you guys as well. So the target, you will want to uncheck enable flash fallback, and under tiles, just check that the JPEG quality is set to 12. It may set to 9 by standard, so just increase that if you can. Now you want to export the tour. Alright, once that's all completed, your file has been exported, you'll want to save it. So top left corner, and you just want to save it as just survey. So now what we want to do is we want to check that that survey has popped out correctly. So you want to go panoramas, your survey number, go. So it should come out, however, this one's a little bit dark, but this is what you should be seeing. There should be no stretching, and as you can see, we set the limiters on ours, so we can't look all the way up to the ceiling and we can't look all the way down to the floor. Otherwise, that should hopefully give you a hand with settings, importing all your images, and then hopefully getting them exported to your survey.